Well, I think there's a number of big things that are on our plate, and right now, I guess I'll go back to the fiscal cliff, which we were talking about at dinner, coming up, where this is going to be the biggest self-inflicted policy wound, and I think it creates a great symbol of the dysfunction in Washington, where we're possibly lose 4% of GDP in demand and drive us back into recession, just because people can't get around a table and make a decision and come to a compromise. So in terms of, if you want government to be a big leader of employment, not this government, the policies that are being set down in Washington are certainly not those that are conducive with an expansion. I don't think it's the biggest problem, though. Our bigger problem is this adjustment to the over-leveraging of the economy that was a byproduct of the housing boom and bubble. We're still working through that. This is an era of debt destruction, this decade of debt destruction, and it comes after a decade of excessive debt creation. So we have this incredible headwind that we're making some progress working on, of paying the debt down and renegotiating and moving forward. And I'm talking about private households now, not the federal government. So we have a lot of work done, 5 years of work done, but we may have 3 or 5 years more of that adjustment. So that's the big negative backdrop that we're working through. And that's on the private side. I think if we get past the fiscal cliff, we get to look into the fiscal chasm. I mean, people have made this. I mean, it's almost insane. We've artificially made this problem for ourselves we're going to blow up at the end of the year because we don't know how to sit down and compromise. But as I'm sure we'll hear from soon, it's not the reported debt that's the problem. It's the off-the-books debt. It's the $50 trillion of unfunded liabilities. I think 37 due to Medicare. So 37 trillion. Just to understand what that means, you think our government debt is a big problem. Our total value of our securities that we actually owe people is probably about 10 billion. We've got 37 billion off the books in unfunded liabilities. Okay, most people in this room probably they don't know that. They don't understand that has to be worked through and reformed. So the chasm is beyond the cliff, and I think the cliff we can deal with. Let's just roll that forward. We got to get real work on the chasm, and I think that's enough depressing news for me.